All right, we're going to bring in our panel, former Florida Circuit Court judge and host of Fox's Judge Alex, the Honorable Alex Ferrer. Also, Court TV anchor Jamie Floyd. Let me ask you about the various statements we heard from the corrections officers, basically confessions, incriminating statements. Several of the officers, though, were cross-examined on the fact that they didn't record this in the logs anywhere. They didn't memorialize these statements. Would that give you any trouble?
Well, I mean, obviously it would be a lot better if they documented them at the time, but frankly, I think the case is so solid that I wouldn't be surprised to see a verdict from the jury tomorrow. And they're doing the closing arguments in the morning. You know, the defense has to pick at something. Usually it's bad police work or failure to document something, or there's somebody out there that they haven't caught. But this case, it really turned out to be so strong, even with a confession that was suppressed at the outset. The evidence came in through other witnesses, so I think they have a solid case regardless.
Well, and Judge, we sort of interchangeably use the term mental illness, and in talking about someone who is intellectually challenged, mentally handicapped, a low IQ, these are two very, very different things. Absolutely.
Yeah, really the mental retardation, I think at this point, I would tend to agree that at this point the lawyers are really trying to save his life. I think they know that the guilt phase is going to go down against them very quickly, and they're trying to hope for a life sentence rather than a death sentence. And in Florida, you cannot execute somebody who's mentally retarded. But under the rule, which I believe is 3.202, there are 3 prongs to that, and one of them is the low IQ, I believe 70 or below, and then beyond that there are 2 other prongs, and one of them is that it has to manifest before the age of 18. So they've still got a way to go to get this to play their way.
All right, Jamie, he just brought up an important point, and this is something that... All right, I want to get to another interesting story. The British tabloids are reporting the former bombshell Britney Spears is on a suicide watch after a possible attempt to take her own life. Reportedly, during her rehab redux, the pop princess tried to hang herself from a lighting fixture with her bed sheets. How will this affect the star's bitter divorce battle with her ex, Kevin Federline? And I think more importantly, a possible custody battle about those kids. You know, Alex, in this situation, we all are aghast that Kevin Federline is becoming more and more the appropriate parent.
Who would have ever thought? Catherine.
Thunk it. Yep.
2 months ago, I said, no way he gets custody of those children, and now I think it's a toss-up, quite frankly. I feel really sorry for her, because I do think that she is in a desperate situation, and this is a cry for help, and she doesn't seem to be getting it. But if anybody ever needed psychiatric care, she sure seems like she needs it. And who knows, it might just be postpartum that is really, really dragging her down and making her behave bizarrely. But the reality is that judge is going to decide what's in the best interest of these children, and a mother who's acting so strange. And if I don't know that the tabloid story is true, to be honest with you, I mean that's not exactly a great source to go to, but you know what, sometimes they break out stories that are true and they're the first ones to report it. If it is, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah, and Alex, what sort of authority does the court have in a family law custody situation? You're dealing with the kids, but you've got a mother in a circumstance like this. Could you order treatment since she waltzes in and out of rehab seemingly at will? Or do you just say, look, if you want to be considered on the list of appropriate parents, you better do X, Y, Z?
Well, that's usually the strongest leverage they have, because she clearly, well, she has always said she wants to maintain control of these children. I don't know if subconsciously she's trying to make sure she doesn't, but she's always said she wants to be the custodial parent. And if you want to be the custodial parent bad enough, you will do whatever the court says you need to do in order to make sure the children are awarded to you. So that's the biggest leverage the judge has, and it should be enough.
And Lynn, how much authority does the judge have to basically... And Alex, can you ever sort of revoke the status? Because I always imagined the judge doing this and then turning to appoint a lawyer and watching the courthouse completely clear of legal counsel as they ran away.
Can you ever what?
Basically revoke pro per status and say, look, I'm appointing you a lawyer and you're going to sit down and take it.
You know, I like Lynn, I've had difficult defendants like that, 9 years in the criminal bench. I've had trials where the defendant wasn't even present. You obviously bend over backwards to make sure that that doesn't happen. But if you ultimately, I remember one case specifically where the defendant refused to cooperate and didn't want a lawyer. Ultimately, I ended up removing him and appointing a lawyer who represented him. And I kept bringing him back into the courtroom after every witness to say, are you going to behave? If you are, you can stay. If you're not, you can go. And we had the entire trial without the defendant there. It was affirmed on appeal. It's not the preferred treatment, but you know, you're not going to let a defendant control the courtroom, because defendants do not want their trial to go forward when they know they're guilty, and they'll do everything they can to prevent that.
You're absolutely right. Well, it was an experience to watch. Judge Alex Ferrer and Judge Lynn Toller, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.